Zeitchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei
I'm going to keep talking. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hello. Hi. It's kind of low, though. Isn't it low? It's a little low? Oh, sorry. Shabbat Shalom still. Just keep saying hello over and over again until the service is over. It'll be great. Happy that you are here at CBI, and happy that you... Ooh, it's getting louder. Now you can hear me. Thank you, Cantor Muchnick. Thank you. Happy that you are here, that you braved the snow and the sleet, and the hail, and the rain. And we weren't sure because there was like a deluge, and then it was like, it's paused, and then it was like then like we saw an ark with animals on it, and then it stopped, and then we weren't sure if it was gonna, and now it's like, it's just trickly, right? It's not terrible right now. So we were, by the way, all inside for all of it, so, but sorry for those of you who were schlepping through all of the rain, but we are happy that you're here at Congregation B'nai Israel for us to pray together and enjoy the beginning of Shabbat. Hello to our live stream. We are, as usual, we presume it's working. Hope that you are also enjoying your evening and the beginning of Shabbat. Presumably you are in your house, so you did not experience getting wet, hopefully, running to services, since you just had to go to a device somewhere. But we are thrilled that you are here as well. If you're here for the first time or the 100th time, you can find the prayer book is right under your seat. So just reach right under, and there should be a book right there. If it's not right under your seat, it's right under a seat near you. I promise. If you got a very, very, very large blue book that says Torah, that's the wrong one. So don't use that one. Use one that says, it should be thinner, should be thin and blue. Thank you, kind sir. It should be thinner, and it should be blue, and it should say Shabbat on the cover. That is that one, sir. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, that one. If your book says Torah on the cover, also an excellent choice, but that's for tomorrow morning for us to discuss. So make sure your book is a thin blue one, that it says Mishkan Tefillah on it, and it says Shabbat on it, and doesn't say weekday and festival. Some of yours have sticky notes. Good, you should check them out. Some of them might have some good stuff in there. Also on our live stream, if you want to follow along with us during our service, you can. Go to our website, cbiboca.org, and top left corner, hit menu, and then right below it says services, and then you should be able to scroll down a little bit, and there should be a button there that says virtual prayer book, and you can follow along with our service that way also throughout our next 2 to 3 hours of our service. No. We're happy that you're here just for services. We're happy if you're here to help dedicate our brand new Torah stand, which is right there. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. We're happy also if you're here for our special 55 and older event, or 50 and up, or 55 and older up, or what is it? Is it 50 and up? Okay. So event. If you're here for that event, we're happy. Great. As usual, I want to thank Minda Shaman, who's back there, who helps put all this stuff together. So a big thanks. The people pointing to her are that's Gil Kaminer. He's on our board of directors, and that's what's his name? It's Steve Allen. I'm just kidding. He's our executive director. So that's Steve Allen. They're the ones back there. And mostly the people standing up, who we never really talk about enough, see them right there in the back standing, in the back left corner. They're a maintenance crew, and they are the ones who do everything for us. So the room is clean and cleaned and cooled, so we don't thank them enough. So thank you very much. All right, we're going to start our service. So we're going to begin with the lighting of Shabbat candles, which can be found on page 2. We're going to invite Karen Blyer to join us on page 2. Page 2. Oh, yeah. If not, I can help with the trigger. Just pull back on the trigger. No? You want me to try it?
Voices.
One more. There you go. You got it. No? Is it lit? I don't think it's lit. Hold on.
Sorry, folks.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our light, give light to all those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Did you get it? Okay. Let's try this again.
You're gonna be sorry you had me come up
No,
tonight.
no, it's perfectly fine. We'll light this one. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue with the words of Yedid Nefesh. We do not continue with Yedid Nefesh. First we do Kiddush, then we're going to do Yedid Nefesh. Thank you very much. So we're just going to turn the page to page 5. Continue with Kiddush, with Kiddush, page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho me'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu vacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim Shabbat kodeshecha Be'ahava v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Now we continue with Kabbalat Shabbat, with bringing in the Shabbat bride into our midst. Big page jump. We're going to go to page 332. 332. Where we're going? 332.
Yedid nefesh al harachamah רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו היה ישתחווה אל מהדרך ירב לו ידידותך
We continue now with Psalm 98. We turn back to the regular side of the prayer book. We continue on page 16. Page 16 with the words of Zamru. Page 16. We continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה
אמן.
ואלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ויומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לא מהמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen.
We continue now with the Baruch Hu, asking ourselves the question if we are awake and prepared as we continue with our service, page 28, and together we stand. Continue on the top of page 31. Let's read that top paragraph together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. We continue on 33 at the bottom. And let's alternate paragraphs. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. The more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 34:35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 36.
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart inscribe them on the doorposts of your homes and of your gates. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha nafshecha umelodecha. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, there's eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get there from here to there except by joining hands and marching together, Micha Mocha, on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar hakodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar hakodesh. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Moses and the children crossed the sea. They sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar hakodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar hakodesh.
Continue now with the Amidah, which can be found on page 46, and together we stand.
Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך פעל גבורות ומדום לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We take some time now for our own silent prayers, thoughts, and meditations, beginning here on page 52 through page 62. When you're finished, please be seated. We continue with Shalom Rav on page 60.
Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam.
Have you ever been in your car and you are maybe driving on the turnpike or on 95 and the radio is up pretty loud and you're really enjoying the music, you're full on into it, and maybe you're headed somewhere and the GPS is taking you somewhere that you've never been before. But you're on the freeway and you're rocking out to whatever music you really like. It's really fabulous. And then you exit. And as you get closer and closer to this spot you don't really know, do you turn down the radio? Yeah? Why? I don't understand. But yes?
There is actually a scientific reason for it.
Yes, thank you.
When you need a sensitive focus, you've got to make it so your ears aren't focusing on music any longer, so your eyes will focus on where you're going.
Ah, okay, interesting. So what's that? That's good. So I asked Debbie to say that, and now that's all I want to say. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming, and we're going to go eat. Best service ever. Hashtag best service ever. Just kidding. I have another 55 minutes to talk to you. So I'm just kidding. So yes, so there is this interesting correlation between the hearing and the seeing and how our focus works, and that interesting moment where by the way, you're going like the speed limit, let's say, on the freeway, and you're fine with the music blaring then, so you're fine focused on that, but when you're zeroing in on where you're going, suddenly the sound has to sort of change. Just putting that out there. That being said, if you have been listening to last week's Torah portion and now this week's Torah portion, this week, by the way, is called Erev. Last week's Torah portion was called V'etchanan, and last week's Torah portion had perhaps one of the most famous piece of Jewish texts that anyone has ever heard of and knows very well, and it was the Shema. So how many people have heard of the Shema before? Thank you. Some of you, by the way, didn't raise your hand, and that makes me nervous, but I appreciate that you, maybe you were tired and from your driving focus or something. So yes. So last week had the Shema, and this week has the Torah portion called Erev. And in the beginning of Erev, it pretty much says, Tishma'un. It says, you should listen. So it's almost like there are 2 weeks in a row that God is sort of putting out there this word Shema, because Tishma'un also has the word Shema in it. It has the root word of Shema in it. And what's interesting about the word Shema is, what do you think it means? Hear, listen. Good, thank you. Hear and listen. Okay, good, excellent, nice. Everyone jumped out at once. Excellent. So I'm borrowing, like I usually do, from the great and late Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. A couple of thoughts here. He was the chief rabbi of the United Kingdom And so in his brilliance, he often is teaching me all the time. And so he goes on to say the word Shema, by the way, is really untranslatable the way it's supposed to sit in Hebrew. That we try to do listen, we try to do hear, but really not sure. He actually goes on to say, it kind of means to hear, to listen, to pay attention, to understand, to internalize, to respond, or to obey. It actually means any of those things. So if you think about what it means to actually listen to something, I'll say the words again. So if you're listening to something, you can hear it, you can listen to it, you can pay attention to it, you can understand it, perhaps, you can internalize it, you can respond to it, or you can obey it. So interesting that he looks at the view of what that means and this idea of what Shema actually means. And he goes on to say that particularly in this book of the Torah, we're in the fifth and last book of the Torah, the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, in this book, that root word of listen occurs 92 times. So now we're going to open our books and we're going to count them together. Just kidding. Want to make sure that some of you are still conscious. So more than 92 times, and time and again, and the question is why? If you know about this book of the Torah, and you join us for Torah study, or you know it yourself, you know that this is the book where Moses is really talking for 37 days long. Actually, the entire book is a 37-day-long speech from Moses, because it's his last speech. He knows when he stops talking, because he's at the age of 120. He knows when he stops talking, almost literally, he's going to die. So he is trying to get as much information into the Israelites as possible before he dies. And so all he's saying is, listen, pay attention to what I'm saying. Focus, hear me. I'm trying to prepare you for what's coming. Listen, over and over and over. He's trying to prepare the Israelites as they march on into the land, to pay attention to what he's trying to say. So I'm trying to pass this message on to you. Over and over and over and over. But what the brilliance of Jonathan Sacks, Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, says is that, take a second away from Judaism, and he says he actually goes to Greece. And he says, if you think about the Greeks and the history of the Greeks, he said their greatest achievements, the Greeks' greatest achievements in the entirety, if you think of Greece, had to do with seeing, not with hearing. If you think they made the best art, the best sculptures, the best architecture, the theater, performances, Olympics, all these things that had to do with seeing, and the concept of the fact that they coined the idea almost that seeing is believing. And we've heard that phrase before, that seeing is believing. And he goes on to say that this knowing concept becomes, by the way, something that we also use in our own language. Right? Because we have insight into something that has to do with seeing. Right? We have foresight. We have hindsight. These all have to do with ways that we are seeing things or not seeing things. And so what the point of this Torah portion is, and what Jonathan Sacks is saying, is that Judaism offers a whole different view, and that Judaism says that faith in God is something that we can't see. It's not about seeing. It's about all the other pieces. It's about listening and focusing and being in the moment and being present. It's much more than just plain old seeing. He goes on to say. He says, and one of the most fascinating modern examples of this, by the way, believe it or not, comes from one of our Jewish friends who we love very much, but he was pretty much estranged from Judaism, and we'll know him when I say his name, and that was a guy named Freud. And so Freud, by the way, actually uses the terminology that you've heard of before called psychoanalysis, and there's another name for it, and he calls it speaking cure. It's a cure for speaking, is what he calls psychoanalysis. Because he goes on to say that when you say to someone, I hear you, it means much more than just, I hear you. It's that I get you, I understand you, I'm with you, I'm part of the dialogue that you're saying. And so Freud opens that same Jewish concept up, as a Jew himself, to say that that's what we're striving for. When we say, I hear you, it's not just like, I hear you. But it's that I get it. I get what you're trying to share with me. It's a profoundly spiritual concept, is what he says. What Freud says, actually. And so listening lies at the very heart of relationships, he says also. Because when you're fully listening to someone, when you're engaged in a real conversation with someone, that's a real special moment. All the other Jewish theologians go on to say that too. That relationship, that you're so locked in a dialogue, that you're so locked in a real talk, that everything else just fades away. Because you're listening to each other. Because I'm actually hearing you. I'm actually listening to what you're saying. I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing something else. I'm not like I'm not the teacher from Snoopy. I'm actually listening to what you're saying. And so in Judaism, we believe that our relationship with God is also an ongoing tutorial in our relationship with each other. Because when we listen to God, we're also opening opportunities to listen to one another. And so I'll leave you with this great phrase that I did not write, but with the words of the late Rabbi Sachs, and he says this. This is how I want us to end this idea of the idea, that same concept of you're driving down the freeway and you're listening or not hearing and you're not really focused, but then you suddenly focus, so that listening, that full concept of listening, hopefully on this Shabbat and on many, many, many more, we can be thinking of this concept as in relationships, find ways to become more and more deeply connective. And he ends with this statement. He says, crowds are moved by great speakers, but lives are changed by great listeners. Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Tiyeh, thank you. We turn our thoughts, we turn our listening ears, our connections and our hearts now to those in our community who are in need of healing, physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. Here at Congregation B'nai Israel, we're thinking of Annie Rosenfield, Asher Ben Karen Fay, Barbara Newmark, Bonnie Kleinman, Daniel Bernstein, David Field, Dr. Elise Karnick, Evelyn Greenfield, Gary Baker, Gary Bandel, Harav Avraham Ben Yehudit, Howard Kleinberg, Howard Rosenbluth, Ira Kafka, Itza Chana, Bella Bat Rivka, Janet Cohen, Diane Brownick, Stuart Benson, Cheryl Cutler, Joan Permits, Carol Porowich, Elliot Porowich, Giovanni Shembrani, Randy Hirschhorn, Sarah Bat Rivka, Stephen Tenner, Julian Middleman, Marcy Cheryl, Shlomo Yaakov Ben Dvora, Harriet Ginsburg, Julius Rosenberg, Carrie Campbell, Joan Seidman, J.R. Morano, Lillian Bichelle, Lillian Rosenblatt, Mark Davis, Naomi Kirstein, Rachel Bat Shoshana, Rena Fields, Richard Rosenbluth, Richard Schenkman, Diane Spiro, Robert K., Sherry Martin, Shana Call, Shirley Kafka, Sloan Caston, Tova Bat Sarah Ariel Lev, Zahava Golda Bat Nehemiah, Lisa Bonner, Ryan Seidman, Stanley Geddes, Eric Kupferberg, Beth Spector, Salvatrice Shambari, Roy Schwedelson, Alka, Kayla, Miriam, Bat Gittel Tova, Marcia Davis, Ruth Weiner, Mira, Ruth Wiener, Mira, Bat Laser, Velea, Brandon Lowe. To those names, we had any name that you'd like to add at this time. Meshbeach can be found on page 253. We have been waiting for quite some time to share with you our new addition to Congregation B'nai Israel, and that is a brand new Torah stand here. We're very excited about it. It's a beautiful handcrafted. We are thrilled that you'll be able to. You're the first people to ever see it. Ooh, it's very pretty. It's going to hold the Torah beautifully. We've tried. And so it's used traditionally when in between reading Torah and Haftarah and other moments. So it's going to be actually in our sanctuary, but it's in the chapel just for us to see it, since services happen to be in here tonight. Did you know services were in here tonight?
No, I'm still in the sanctuary.
Yeah, great. So services were here tonight. So it is a pleasure to invite the climbing crew up to join us. So come stand right around the Torah stand. We're going to give you a little blessing. So come on and join us. We are very thankful to all of you for this incredibly wonderful donation to our congregation. Anything that involves the ability to connect with Torah and be part of Torah reading is something that we really, 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 really love. It's obvious my sermon was incredible. And uplifting and revitalizing, as most people find it. So, and you know what? And he's speaking for everyone. So about the sermon, I love that. So I put to sleep several people, and so I'm very, very happy. I could have gone a little bit longer, but some of you were still awake, so I appreciate that for the sermon. But I really appreciate that. So as it says in the book of Exodus. This is my God, whom I will glorify. So the idea is that we glorify not just moments, but also particular ritual objects that allow us to get to beautiful moments. And so just like this Torah stand, just like you've seen a beautiful yad or a beautiful mezuzah, any of these objects that allow us to heighten our ability to do Jewish, this is exactly what this is for. So this means that we perform mitzvot in God's honor. We make a beautiful sukkah, for instance. We make a beautiful lulav, a beautiful shofar. We put tzitzit fringes on our shawls, on our prayer shawls. We of course make beautiful Torahs. We make beautiful Torah stands, and so it is in this great moment that we get to share these beautiful words. Enlighten our eyes in your Torah, that we may fulfill your mitzvot, unite our hearts to love and respect your name.
והארננו בתורתך ותדבק ליבנו במצוותיך ויחד בעמנו ליחד וליראה את שמך ולא נמות ולא ניכנע ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד כי בשם קודשך הגדול הנורא והתחתון נגילה ונשמחה נגילה ונשמחה ישועתך.
Now we can formally dedicate our brand new Torah stand, welcoming it into our community, into our home here at Congregation B'nai Israel, into our chapel, into our sanctuary. May it add beauty to our celebrations, and may it deepen our commitments to living a deeply and fulfilled and celebratory Jewish life that we can all spend together. And now we thank God for this very special moment with the words of She'echianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Bless you, our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and bringing us to this very special, wonderful moment for our congregation. As together we say, Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for adding this beautiful ritual object into our community. Thank you. Thank you. Give me one of these. Bam. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. When you have a chance, not now, but when you have a chance, you should come look at it. It's very pretty, beautifully made. It's very pretty. There's a beautiful plaque on the back that dedicates it from all of you, and so thank you for bringing more opportunities for us to connect to Torah and for many other joyous moments we can celebrate together here at CBI for many, 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 many years to come. A couple more of announcements. So after services, if you're going to the 50, 55, whatever we're calling it, you're going to leave here, you're going to make a left, you're going to go down the hallway, you're going to go to our VIP section. Minda's going to show you where to go when that's after our service. There's still 2 hours left of the service, but when it's over, that's where you're going to go. And then if you're not going to the 55 older thing, then you're going to join us for Oneg, which is in the Oneg room. So don't worry, there's food for everyone. So we promise there's food for you. No matter what you're doing, there's food. We promise. Tomorrow morning in this very room at 9 o'clock, we'll be continuing studying this very awesome Torah portion of Erev. 9 o'clock, we'll do our service and our study. Help us to keep our bins filled for a little free pantry. Those bins are right outside the doors. There are these blue bins to bring any generous donation that you'd like to bring. We'd really appreciate it. Save the date. A night out with Andy Cohen. November 9th. Tickets go on sale for CBI members on August 31st. And I'm telling you, if you have any interest in going to and be here for Andy Cohen, sit by the computer, because on the 31st, if you remember, because it's going to sell out, I think, probably on the same day. So it's going to be very, very close. So if you're interested in seeing Andy Cohen and being here on the 31st, literally sit by the computer and just go, because it's not going to be that many spots left. What time is it open? What time is it open? 10 a.m. The good thing the executive director's here. At 10 a.m. That's Steve Allen. Yeah, that's Steve Allen, the executive director. Hey, Steve. So yes, at 10 a.m. Tickets go on sale, and then for non-members, it's on the 7th. On the 7th, if there are any tickets left over, but they're going to go fast. There are already tickets gone because our sponsors already have purchased many tickets. So it's going to be great and fabulous. All right, register online for Coffee and Conversation. The Cantor did one already. Rabbi Khan did hers this week. I'm next, so August 16th. I'll be doing Coffee and Conversation, 11:30 a.m. in the boardroom upstairs on the 3rd floor. That's on the 16th. Of course, there's still mahjong that can be played on the 3rd floor. If you're interested, you can look up all this information on our website. If you're interested, the information for our Israel trip, which is going to be in June, because not this June, clearly, because we're in August. But in June, it's official, it's out there, it's on the website, and our banner is already back there too. So all the information, you can scan the QR code on the banner, and it's going to be a really fabulous trip in June if you want to join us for a congregational trip. It's going to be really fun and really fabulous. Kendra Muchnick, it's your turn for announcements.
Aleinu.
Great. All right. Yes. Aleinu, we continue on page 282, and together we stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad.
We transition our thoughts now to Kaddish Yatom, to Mourner's Kaddish. In the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period, we think of Yasmin Green, Eva Posner, and Gary Kane. And for our yortzites that occur for us on this Shabbat, Murray Fredericks, George Cohen, Rose Cohen Steinberg, David Rich, Minnie Paul, Stephen Dubov, Al Elias, Ruben Getcher, Russell Radke, Eugene Kligman, Bernard Julius Rubinoff, Fanny Tashoff, Ronald Rich, Saul Reich, Stan Hyman, Michael Gordon, Melissa Yasmin, Helen Bellinger, Sheila Stone, Gary Brody, Michael Baum, Arlene Pincus, Sylvia Kestacher, Benjamin Newmark, Charles Aronson, Jerry Seidman, Irving Leopold, Roger Davis. To those names, we had any name that you would like to add at this time. Kaddish Yatom Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. Yitkadal v'yikadash shmei rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yesh shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitomam v'yitnaseh, v'yidadar v'yitale v'yitala shmei kodesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And the one who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say, amen. Please be seated. We conclude with Tfilat Haderech, which can be found on page 345.
May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find our way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
Adonai oz lamo yiten, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom. May God give strength unto our people, continue to bless us with love and peace and hope. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.